Man, they are not taking that Sydney Sweeney advert well, are they? Here's MSNBC. Sydney Sweeney's ad shows an unbridled cultural shift towards whiteness. Advertisements are always mirrors of society, and sometimes what they reflect is ugly and startling. So, the culture of white Americans is ugly and startling, according to MSNBC. Because, I mean, there was nothing ugly in that bloody advert, was there? Come on. Like, they go on about this, being like, well, you know what? Everyone's calling it white supremacy and Nazi propaganda. And it's like, okay, I mean, it could well have just been a silly double entendre on just a play on words about the term jeans, because Sydney Sweeney is an attractive woman and she probably inherited that from her parents. They say these critics point to the copy and implication of calling a white person superior because of their genes. I think you're taking that a little bit far, right? Then sure, they're saying Sydney Sweeney happened to get lucky in the genetic lottery and she's doing well out of it, and so people like to look at her. In fact, they say in the videos, Sweeney exudes a sort of vintage sexiness that caters to the male gaze. She embodies the near mythological girl next door, beautiful but low maintenance sexy femininity that dominated the media in the 1990s and early 2000s. Together, the campaign feels regressive and not retro, offensive and not cheeky. I mean, man, like, if you're trying to sell it, like, I already thought it was a good advert. The mythological girl next door, beautiful but low maintenance, sexy femininity. That sounds great. Like, what man isn't up for that? Like, it's no wonder she keeps winning. It's no wonder she's making so much money. Like, you couldn't think of anything more appealing to men, I think. And they're steaming about it. They're absolutely steaming. They're just furious. And it's like, look, guys, men have preferences and they spend money, and women who see men's preferences also spend money. And this is the thing about Sydney Sweeney. There are loads of people going, oh, she's mid or whatever. It's like, no, she's not. She's pretty, but she's not like the most beautiful woman to have ever lived. But that's not what makes her attractive, actually. What makes her attractive is that she seems comfortable in her own skin and she doesn't seem to have a chip on her shoulder. And frankly, she doesn't seem to hate men. And she seems quite like, being herself. And so, a very attractive woman, and obviously she's got a great body, so it's just like, this kind of non-resentful atmosphere. Again, beautiful but low-maintenance, sexy femininity. That's what is the winner, in my opinion. That's what I think most men go for. And they're just like, yeah, I can't believe men like her, and she seems to like them too. I'm not going to stand for this. Anyway, they're cringing and angry about the fact that the company's doing well out of this. And they point out that Sweeney's just pretty transparent. She's like, well, I do this because I need money, because they don't pay actresses like they used to, and so I have to take the money. And it's like, okay, fair enough. And so you've got the bath soap or bathwater soap thing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But they complain at the end that it's just like, well, it's disappointing and dangerous by American Eagle for her to be in this ad. Ads are always a mirror of society, and sometimes what they reflect is ugly and startling. It isn't just that far-right ideology is proliferating on the fringe. Well, apparently it's in adverts now. Our entire cultural ethos has moved further right. Oh, well, that's good. Young women are being radicalized through so-called clean skin care and healthy eating. Is that what it takes to radicalize them? It's like, hey, maybe you could take care of yourself. And it's like, yep, those women are goose-stepping down the road now. Internet slang once used exclusively by women-hating incels is mainstream, and people are unabashedly self-identifying as fascist on public platforms. Well, I mean, the thing is, right, you keep saying, all right, yeah, if you're into this, you're a fascist. And so I'm not that surprised when a lot of young people are like, yeah, maybe I am. Because they're looking at this going, yeah, I'm kind of into this. So, I mean, maybe saying that attractive blonde women selling jeans is actually not fascist. Maybe fewer people will be like, oh, so that's what fascism is. I always wondered, but never got an explanation. But this seems to summarize it for them. And I just to be clear, right? I've read Fascist Doctrine. Fascist Doctrine is just nonsense through and through. It's actually kind of funny how ridiculous it is. It's no less ridiculous or more ridiculous than socialism, obviously, or liberalism itself. But the point being, this is not what makes anyone anything other than heterosexual. But, so, there are some people who've taken this really, really poorly. And as CJ Pearson points out here, liberal women aren't mad at Sydney Sweeney for setting women back, because, of course, we're in the era of sex workers and OnlyFans and sugar babies and whatever else, right? So she's not doing anything that mainstream feminist or left-wing discourse doesn't endorse, right? She's doing it in a way that panders to men rather than hating men, rather than being contemptuous of men. And ultimately, they're mad because she's young, hot, white, and blonde. If she was 300 pounds and gender fluid, they'd be celebrating her. And that's totally true. She embodies ideals of beauty. And if she didn't, if she was horrifically ugly, they wouldn't be mad about it, but they are mad about the fact that she's embodying the ideals of beauty. And there is a certain sort of subset of the American culture that is really angry about this. As Andrew points out, black women are the biggest victims of the Sydney Sweeney jeans ad. And they're really coming across this way.
Since Sydney Sweeney decided to do that little ad she did, I want to find some alternatives to Aerie. I really need new underwear, so if anyone could give me some recommendations, that would be great, because I do not want to support that mess. Thank you.
How is it that Sydney Sweeney does an advert, black women are most affected? Well, that's really bizarre, isn't it? Here's another one. Right, they're just...
American Eagle using fashion as a way to influence young, middle American women, ages 15 to 25, because that's their demographic. In their prime reproductive years, to focus on purity and passing down the correct genes. And they thought it was a cute double entendre, but it wasn't. Oh, and don't think this was an accident. This was very intentional, and it would not have mattered one bit if a person of color was in the room, because this message was not intended for us. Oh, and it landed for its intended market. Fashion companies use ads to send out very alarming messages. This isn't the first time, and it won't be the last. American Eagle.
I guess if you're thinking of the world in these dimensions, then yeah, if only the recipient audience is people who look like the people who are featured in the adverts, well, that would explain the Jaguar advert and the Calvin Klein advert with the big fat black woman on the billboard, and the Jaguar advert with the weird, anywhere people on Mars or whatever it's supposed to be. And then if you've got Sydney Sweeney in America, in an American car, wearing American jeans, I guess it's for Americans. And I suppose if you can only view the world through one lens, which is, I must see my own skin colour reflected, then yes, you would say, well, this is definitely not for black Americans then, even though obviously no one thinks that. And the right genes to pass on, just to be clear, are your own. You should have kids. You should pass on your genes, so don't worry about that. Then you've got Akilah Hughes here, who has me blocked and has done for many years. Beyonce has better genes. Oh no, it's a double entendre. Why has she got white hair? And she's looking pretty pale in this as well. After a short 40-minute experiment, it's clear that the original ad was not about the actual genes, but eugenics. The racists proved that in their comments here. Oh God. Well, that's a bit rough, and I'm sorry to hear it for Beyonce, I guess. But I mean, you guys are worrying about this way more than I expected.
That got me too.
Here's another one.
Yep, that got me too. And I don't know why. Maybe because it's just so blatant. I keep thinking that people just are not gonna believe us until we're hung out there, but then even then I feel like they'll be like, oh no. Kind of like they are with. I see the same perpetual self-imposed victimhood. I did a post about saying, hey, these are the action steps that we really need to see from the good whites. Where I said, I need protection. Put my cash out. And she goes, well, would you just rather white women just not follow you at all anymore? Because da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, definitely unfollow me. If you thought you being here and clicking a follow button was doing me a favor, same as that one guy, whatever his name was. Descendant of the oppressor. He's like, well, Lindsay still does a good job and I appreciate her work and labor, so I'm going to still follow her. No, definitely unfollow me. If you are any type of person, but especially a white woman who's coming to this platform thinking you're doing me a favor by clicking a follow button, leave now.
Somehow Sydney Sweeney has got this influencer attacking her own audience, like breaking down in tears. Good whites, you need to come and save it. What are you talking about? It's an advert for jeans. Okay, yeah, it's using an attractive blonde woman, but that wasn't actually anything unusual apart from the last 5 minutes of human civilization. And this is the new ad that Sydney Sweeney has put out. I think it's an advert. I'm not even sure. It's just a collection of clips of her doing stuff. But again, you can see it's just classic Americana, just, frankly, being happy with her own culture, right? And being happy in herself. And yeah, a lot of people are taking that really, really poorly. And I'm sorry for those people. I hope that they can get the help that they need. Possibly get off the fucking internet. But there's nothing wrong with any of this. This is not Nazi dog whistling. The previous one was not Nazi dog whistling. It was actually just sort of hot girl dog whistling. Which, okay, welcome to the real world.